2021 hasn't been a great year for Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP. First, they had the Alex Salmond scandal to deal with the mishandling of the inquiry and the evidence being covered up somehow, until they saw what's been happening in the opinion polls. The collapse in the Scottish independence support has also been a factor for Nicola Sturgeon. But the biggest thing that's not happening right now is that her own advisors, her own government advisors, are coming out to speak out against the possibility of a prosperous Scotland if they leave the United Kingdom. Now, this is completely embarrassing for not just Nicola Sturgeon, but everyone else at the top of the SNP government, because the advisor who's supposed to be in charge of the economic policies, part of the kind of minister of councils, is actually come out to say that if Scotland leaves the UK, it will be a pity. It's actually bad for Scotland. I mean, of course, this person was also against Brexit, thinking that leaving the European Union will be a big problem, although we have seen that Brexit hasn't been that disastrous project that the Remainers thought it would be. But as an opinion, as an economist, this person has come out to actually say that it will be a pity if the UK splits up. If you look at where growth would come from in Scotland on its own, it's not clear whether it would be in a better or worse position. She's also said that it's already a pity that we got out of Europe in terms of being any sort of mighty force. This is an issue that we have. So you have all these advisors who, for a long time, they've been coming out with these predictions. They're coming out with all these doom and gloom reports. Well, they've been wrong. That's the whole point of economists who try to predict the future. The issue that we have, what she's saying could be true or could not be true. I mean, it's 50-50 at this point. But the problem is political. It's that she's Nicola Sturgeon's advisor. And Nicola Sturgeon and the rest of the Scottish government, who pretend to be so united, especially when it comes to the cause of Scottish independence and the possibility of a Scottish independence referendum, well, that's clearly not happening. So this is absolutely embarrassing moment for Sturgeon's cabinet. On the other hand, it's not a surprise when we're talking about the Scottish independence. When you see that these people are obsessed with the European Union, and I've said this before on this channel, that the fact that the Sturgeon and the SNP want to leave the UK as a union and join another union, the European Union, to be governed by Brussels, is at this point a very, very political choice. They know that obviously the anti-EU brigade are not just pro, obviously, Brexit as a cause, but they want Brexit for all the European countries, part of the EU. But they're patriotic and they are proud of their country and sovereignty and democracy. So the left-wing SNP have decided to go completely against it. Although not everybody in the European Union will be happy with Scotland joining. Spanish government, one of them. We know how they've been treating Kosovo ever since the last few years. Especially recently, there was a football match between Spain and Kosovo, and a lot of people have come out to speak out against the way the Spanish government have been treating them, because one of the legal experts, Spanish legal experts, spoke to the Express, arguing that if Scotland becomes independent, it will be treated in the same way by the Spanish government as Kosovo was treated. She explained that we had a football match recently, Spain against Kosovo, and there was the biggest scandal. On Spanish television, they wrote Kosovo in lowercase because Spain doesn't recognize its independence. And she said that I guess it will be the same for Scotland. Of course, we know why. Because they have Catalonia to deal with. They don't want to encourage any sort of movement that would divide their own country. And we know that the Spanish government have been very, let's just say, robust when it comes to dealing with Catalonia. So that's just one example of the EU member state who will be against Scotland rejoining, or no, it's not really rejoining because it's joining the European Union. They were part of the UK if they were to leave right now. So Anand Bastani from Novara Media has come out to defend the SNP. God knows why. The guy's a communist, and he's also a supporter of the Labour Party, especially when Jeremy Corbyn was in charge. And he's come out to tweet this because some opinion polls have come out to show that young people are left-wing. Wow. Who knew? He tweeted, after more than a decade at the top in Hollywood, 70% of 16 to 24-year-olds favour the SNP. It's remarkable. It's complete domination of domestic politics, while also being the future. What future? The SNP have been in charge, and there's every single thing, all the policy areas, from education to health and the financial aspects of the government, has been disastrous. Where is this future? And also, again, why is he surprised that young people are left wing? Just because the SNP have been in government under the establishment doesn't mean that establishment is right wing. It's just a really weird misconception that the left always had when it comes to the establishment. Brilliant. I mean, Aaron Bastani has always been wrong about obviously political predictions. He thought that Jeremy Corbyn would win because he has a lot of support of young people. Yeah, young people also supported Jeremy Corbyn. Well done, Aaron. Nothing happened because young people grow up. They start paying taxes. They realize that life is tough and you can't just have free unicorns. So that's the problem with these guys. Now, on the other hand, going back to the financial side of the SNP, we've just discovered, thanks to Guido Fawkes, that a number of SNP actual political local party branches have been taking advantage of the government's financial scheme, this £10,000 pandemic support package that they've been giving to businesses. They have to now return the money because the councils have decided to finally enforce the central government's legislation. Finally. Although, don't just think it's the SNP. This is a problem that we have across the political class that we have. £10,000 grants each for two branches that we have in Scotland. And Guido Fawkes actually says that there's a lesson to be learned here for the parties south of the border. Because we have apparently 22 local branches of English parties who've also claimed £10,000 grants by taking advantage of these application guidelines set by Rishi Sunak. Now, Conservative branches claim by far the most cash, accepting a whopping £150,000 of taxpayers' money across 15 Conservative associations. Also, Labour Party have received £70,000. Really? I mean, in this video I was criticising the SNP, and we should. But the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, what are you guys doing? Literally stealing taxpayers' money at this point. It's very silly. These packages were supposed to be for people who are in need and businesses who are in need and individuals and collectives. Why are political parties, actual branches, local branches, taking money from the taxpayer in the middle of all this? This is the problem. Again, we've been talking about the financial side of political parties, and that reminds me, again, going back to what Nicola Sturgeon's been doing. If they leave the UK, we know that the money coming from Westminster has been the reason that they've survived until now. They keep begging for more money from Rishi Sunak. Somehow the money disappears. We do have a new report from the Institute for Fiscal Studies that's actually said that the Scottish government's funding per person is more than 30% higher than in England. Now, the Research Institute claimed that it is almost entirely due to its UK government funding and said that the gap has grown over the last 10 years. Well, what a surprise. If people go out there, the unionists in Scotland, and explain the situation to every voter, it will be very obvious. It's not a complicated thing. It's not rocket science. Everyone should know that the Scottish government is not really handling things properly. This is exactly why you have a lot of people on the left who are now kicking off. We know that George Galloway has started this movement against the SNP recently. He tweeted saying that, personally, I can't leave the question of independence for another day, but the government of Nicola Sturgeon must fall. The stench of corruption, financial and institutional, and the most rank, almost risible incompetence is a daily betrayal of everything Scotland used to stand for. Don't forget, a lot of the great things historically that's happened in this country is because of people in Scotland, from your Adam Smiths and a lot of, obviously, especially economically, but also all the things that's been invented from Scotland. People forget that that part of the UK has been massively beneficial, but also it's always been two ways because we have been in a union. But some people want to go back in time. Some people just are obsessed with the past. That's why I wanted to expose this news that Nicola Sturgeon's own advisor is now speaking out against Scottish independence. I hope you enjoyed this. Just a quick reminder, you only have 10 days left until you get your I Believe in Britain merchandise or We Are the Media merchandise using the special discount code ThankYou15. You have 10 days to get 15% off of all our merchandise. Use the link in the description to the shop that we have, and use the code ThankYou15. This is obviously, we really appreciate all the support that you guys as subscribers and supporters have been giving us. Which reminds me, the members of the channel, you guys have been absolutely brilliant. You guys get 25% discount. If you want to find that discount code, you have to go on YouTube, click on the community tab, and you could find the code there. Thanks again for watching. I'm Maya Tusi. I'll see you guys in the next video.